Are you interested in knowing what is a software engineer? Then watch this video because I'll be explaining what is software engineering and what you actually do as a software engineer. So software engineering involves planning out how an application like a website or a mobile app, for example, is going to work out based on the client's needs. Designing the application like the UI of the app and software architecture. Then comes the development phase, turning the software engineer's ideas into machine language using a variety of languages such as Java, for example. The job of a software engineer doesn't stop here. This software should be tested before being launched, because any new software will always contain bugs. When everything works perfectly, it's time to launch the software and maintain it. So this job involves a systematic approach in building a software. It starts by planning, then designing, coding, testing, then launch, and of course, maintenance. So let us say you decided to become a software engineer and you were tasked to build for a client a calculator app. It is a simple idea, but let us use it for the sake of this video. It always starts by planning what you need to do and understand what are the functionalities you need to build. A calculator app should have buttons that when pressed will give a certain number and display it on the screen. Also, the user should be able to perform some calculations and arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, and so on. The user should also receive an output, be able to use decimal numbers, clear the interface, and much more. You'll decide which language you need to use in order to build this application. Is it going to be Python, Java, or C++? Which language best suits your application? Everything that involves the structure of an application or project you are building and the language used must be planned before writing code, because you'll be using this plan to be able to write code and develop the application. Next comes the design phase. This is where you want to plan the design of this application like user interface and software architecture. Maybe you'll be needing to use tools that allows you to draw the application you are building. Like this, you'll be able to visualize how your application needs to look like. You'll take some time to build the design of this application by specifying what are the fonts that are going to be used, the colors, are they appealing for the users. Also, you need to structure the layout of the buttons and the interface to be able to get a well-built application. Then you'll be planning the software architecture. Every application may require a database to store user information. Also, you'll define the logic you need to use for this application. Maybe you are building an application for an accounting firm. You need to know what are the logic this firm wants to implement in this app. Also, in this phase, you want to be documenting the plan with blueprints and notes. Software engineers use diagrams and flowcharts to illustrate how they are going to write code. They can use UML diagrams to be able to see how they're going to write code when they'll start with the coding phase. And the coding phase comes right after the design phase. This is where the fun starts, and you will be needing to translate all your plan and design to machine language using the programming language you decided to work with. You'll start building the application and using as reference the design you created for the UI or user interface and the flowchart you created to be able to see how you're going to build this application. This will allow you to build the application faster and better because you have everything planned. Before launching the application, it is better to do some tests to make sure that there aren't any bugs. Try to test the application yourself or send it to a small number of people to be able to test the application and give feedback on it. With these feedbacks, you will be able to make changes and identify bugs that maybe are causing your program to give an unexpected output or crash sometimes. All this needs to be fixed before giving the application to a client, to a business, or just publish it for the world. Finally, it is time to launch the application to the public or whatever client you are working with. Definitely, your job doesn't stop here. You should always try to keep this application up to date and fix any defect. The users can find bugs that you can go ahead and fix. Also, maybe updating your application by adding new features, making sure that the software still meets client needs. So overall, keeping the application in good health. The steps mentioned now are definitely a simplified version of what is happening in the real world. Definitely, you'll be working with a team of software engineers, UI UX designers, backend developers, and much more, which all of you will work together to build this project and ensure a successful output. Now, if you're interested in starting software engineering, here's a preview on what you can do to start. First, familiarize yourself with programming languages such as Java, Python, JavaScript, or C++ and learn the basics of programming, like variables, loops, classes and objects, and much more. Next, ask yourself, what are you interested in building? Do you like building web applications? Or how about mobile application or desktop applications? Once you identify what you want to build, you can now focus on a specific language. Like if you want to become a mobile app developer for iOS, you'll be needing a programming language called Swift. Whereas if you want to build websites, you'll be needing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Once you decide your field, you need to learn the language needed for you to be able to work in this field. You can find courses on Udemy or find tutorials on online sources like YouTube or websites like freecodecamp.org or find coding bootcamps. After learning, you'll be needing to apply what you learn by building your own projects and applications. And to get a job, you need to build your own CV or portfolio that potential employers will use to be able to assess your skills and see if you are a great fit for the job. Also, remember that the field of technology and programming is constantly evolving, so make sure you stay up to date on newer technologies and always continue learning. And this is the end. I hope you found this video valuable and I hope you learned something new. Make sure you comment your thoughts in the comment section. And thank you for watching. Make sure you go ahead and click on one of these end screens that will appear right now, so I'll be able to see you in the next video.